Hello and welcome everybody to another Realm Royale patch notes. My name is Pretty Hair, of course, joined by the rest of the gang. Of course, Alex, our design representative, Andy, our programming representative, and young Jay Nash, the man himself, the man of the community. That was a fun little video we watched there for the kind of Nintendo Switch. Talk a little about that for us, Jay.
Yeah, you can play Realm Royale on Nintendo Switch today. You just unlock
Today?
Yeah, today.
Today is the day.
You get the Founders Pack. It'll give you early access to the game, but it'll also give you 5 platform-exclusive skins. What's really great about Nintendo Switch is it's already included in crossplay and cross-progression. So if you've already played on Xbox One or PC, you can link your stuff over on my.highresstudios.com, pick right back up where you left off. Just a little note, some skins don't apply to cross progression, and a Founders Pack skins, since they are platform exclusive, do fall under that bucket. But
well, you get some platforms exclusive for signing up. Yeah. I know the Nintendo Switch skin for Paladins was awesome, so you guys want to make sure to get in there. You get 5 of them, it sounds like. That's awesome. We have a lot of stuff coming in this new show. I'm going to go ahead and run you through most of it. New things in this update include the Eternal Conflict Battle Pass, for one, the big boy. The new ability, the Skull of Chaos. Some quality of life improvements, increase to armor potion drops, and some more. Here's kind of that fun little splash art we had up on the screen. So a little bit about this theme of this Battle Pass, Alex?
Yeah, so we're going with the Eternal Conflict.
Gotcha.
You know, we didn't want to go just
tale as old as time.
It is. You know, is it good versus evil? Yeah, and that's kind of what we're running with. So you'll see that with the skins. You'll see that in this Battle Pass. It's just that classic good versus evil. It will always go on, at least that in the realm. We'll always have this battle.
Gotcha.
Which side do you want to be on?
Awesome. So without further ado, let's hop into some of these awesome new items that you're going to get along with this battle pass. We're going to show these kind of in the order that you're unlocking. And the first one up on the docket is the Chained One Assassin. So we'll make sure that we're... Ooh, yeah. I haven't seen this one yet. That's sick. Yeah. Oh, let's go.
Something a little different in this one.
I love that one. So this is going to be the Assassin, obviously still kind of tied to a class. You can't use these with all of them. How can we kind of, differentiate this guy is an Assassin now? Because this is very, very, character changing, shape changing in terms of a skin.
I mean, look at him. He's got those chains to keep him in that Assassin. I think that he's purple, he's green, he's just looking nasty. I don't know.
It's like someone that wants to kill you.
Yeah.
He's got that assassin vibe, right? The purple and green.
Yeah, it does maintain some of the color scheme to the class. So.
Right.
Exactly. But you're right, it's a pretty big change, and so you're going to see this coming the first time over the hill, and maybe they're going to disappear. Maybe they're gonna
I love it.
Yeah.
Regardless, it's someone you want to run from. So.
Yeah.
Right. Just like,
and he's just shredded. Yeah. Shredded to bits.
That energy.
Hits him with the flex. That is very, very cool. And like I said, we're talking about these in order that you unlock them. So this is up first. That is a strong start. That is starting on the right foot if I've ever seen it. That's going to do it for the Chain One Assassin, though. We'll move on to the Chomper Chicken. And no good battle pass is complete. And this goes hand in hand with my man right there.
It's perfect.
That's awesome. And chicken skins are not exclusive, correct, to a classic. You can put them on with anyone, right?
You can use them with anyone. Yeah.
Gotcha. So you can pop this one. You can get that aesthetic. That's the important thing.
Right.
If you're not an assassin guy, but you still want that purple and green aesthetic, you can play with this bad boy right here. And these chicken skins, you guys keep doing it. Keep getting better and better.
I don't know if I'm more scared of the chicken or the character, though. Yeah. I might want to turn around and run if this chicken was chasing me.
Looks like he's going to eat me.
I mean, that's an aggressive chicken. I like it.
He's all mouth. He is all mouth, man. That's something that can't be said. Man, at this point, it would be awesome just to see all the chicken skins we have in the game just wage war on each other. There's so many.
That would be awesome.
That'd be really cool.
Wouldn't that be a cool thing?
Yeah.
Man, Chomper Chicken, there it is. That's the second thing you will unlock in the Battle Pass. Move on to Seraphim Mage. This will be one up for the Mage now, and you can see there, blue, very celestial, very very holy looking, if you will.
It's got that special dagger.
I like that dagger too.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a glaive sort of vibe.
Yeah. So we're all about here, the glaives. Yeah.
Big glaive guy?
Yeah, big glaive guy.
I played a demon hunter in WoW, so you could say I'm a big glaive guy. I'm liking this one. I love the mage too, so you guys can hop on there. All kinds of cool aesthetics with that eternal conflict sort of vibe.
Look at those wings.
Yeah, definitely. Very, very angelic. I love the blue flame hair as well.
And these all have individual voice packs too. I know we won't be going over them, but when you get in game, try them out. There's some really good lines in there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Seraphim Mage, guys. That one's looking good. That is the third skin in this Battle Pass road you will be taking. Next up, the Abyssal Fiend mount.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Just keeps getting better and better. My goodness, this is it. That's quite. And I'm all about the skinergy, right? You know, you got to have your mount looking good with your skin. It doesn't have to be the hard matchy match. You know, you get a little creative, but I think this bad boy is he'll do just nicely with any of the skins in this pack.
Yeah, the kind of the theme that we went with, especially for all of the more demonic looking skins. I mean, it's just they knocked it out of the park.
Man.
It's so good.
I like the jar of eyeballs on the back.
Oh yeah.
And all those skull trophies on the saddle, that's sick. Very, very cool. All these skins kind of turning up, I have to say. These feel of a new caliber. Yeah. Very cool mount special as well, a little green fire.
Oh yeah.
My goodness gracious, that's not one you want to see coming at you full bore. That is the Abyssal Fiend mount, the 4th skin in the long laundry list of skins we have to get through today. We'll move on to the Chirpy Cherub Chicken. Oh. Gotta throw one out there for the cute boys. You know?
Of course.
Gotta get one of them in.
Those little sandals. Protect those little claws, you know?
I'm surprised he's not wearing thong sandals, you know, to have that little...
That's true.
He's only got 2 toes there. Count him, but there he is, guys.
The halo and everything.
I love it. The halo, the glowing wings. But yet the frantic expression through.
You almost don't want to shoot
an immortal chicken, you know, of the heavens, but still. A chicken is a chicken is a chicken is a chicken, guys. At the end of the day, they cannot deny what they are. That is the Chirpy Cherub Chicken. Moving on to another mount, it seems, the Angelic Griffin, if I had to guess. There it is, boys. Something to go with your more holy aesthetic. We had the Abyssal Fiend mount, so now we have to bring balance to the Eternal Conflict. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. Having enough men, mounts, chickens on each side.
Yep. We're just stuck in the middle, you know? Mortals.
Yeah, this is a good one, though, for sure. This will pair nicely, of course, with your Seraphim Mage, all the other holy theme skin, of which we have a couple to get to at the end of the day.
Tail.
Yeah, these are like battle mounts. Yeah. These are things that you want to ride into the Eternal Conflict and just say, this is the side I'm on.
They're armored. I mean, they're vicious and delicious looking. Take a look at that mount special.
Ooh.
Of course, you got to be able to combat that green demonic fire from the Abyssal Fiend somehow. And the boy's the one to do it. The Angelic Griffin, pairing nicely, of course, with our Seraphim Mage. Very cool stuff. All things you can expect to grab in this Eternal Conflict Battle Pass. We'll go ahead and move on to the Succubus Hunter.
Oh.
I think the Archangel Warrior is up next. Yeah.
Okay. Archangel Warrior, there he is. He's looking very, very good, of course. That's another one for the good guys, though. Golden armor. Very, very glowy theme. The warrior skin, I don't know, man. Something about that juicy plate mail. That always kind of gets me in all the skins. The warrior ones always look very, very cool.
There.
Yeah, the pauldrons are almost creepy, but also kind of like that divine. Like, you know, we just have these faces.
Gotcha.
Those eyes too on the angel. It's just his eyes kind of they're intimidating in a good way.
Yeah, that's a very good aesthetic for sure. Having the sort of deadpan face pauldrons, I unironically very do like that one a lot. Very cool skin there, very cool color scheme, the gold. That's the one you want to pop the angelic or the Chirpy Cherub Chicken for. That's the Archangel Warrior, guys. Now we'll get to the Succubus Hunter. Apologize, I mid-read the list earlier, and there she is, scantily clad. And if there was ever a time for something vicious and delicious, I think this would be it. The Succubus Huntress. Very, very cool.
In the graveyard, you know, just looking good.
Absolutely.
There's a tail.
You got to have the tail.
The dagger, the horns, the wings.
Pointed, red, black, glowing.
Oh,
the
shoulder dagger action, too.
Yeah, the dagger's great. The spine, I mean, it's that intrigued, and you're also like, I want to stay away. I want to get close. What do I do? Where am I?
Very confused. Very confused feelings with the Succubus Huntress. Take a look at her salute. Just a soldier in the army of the damned, I suppose, at the end of the day. That's a Succubus Hunter, though, guys. We'll go ahead and move on to the Floofy Bounder mount. And I can only imagine. How does he see? How do you drive this bad boy? He's riding on blind faith. That's what it is.
Yep.
And that's what makes him the most faithful steed. He can't see a damn thing, but he's out there giving it his all.
Look at that. This is a top tier.
Yeah.
It is.
This is actually the final piece of the battle pass.
This is it.
Yeah.
Oh
Reach
man!
The end.
So how does homeboy right here fit into the Eternal Conflict? Was he just a bystander? Somebody's mounts gets taken out by a crossbow bolt. We had to hop on something. I had no other options. I don't know how I wound up on this guy.
I think Flippy Bounder is
That's a
just
disrespect.
a great equalizer.
Look at that movement.
Nobody really knows where he stands.
Yeah.
You
You just don't mess with him. Look at that bounce.
I mean, shout outs to the animation team on that one. That's a good one for sure.
You're going to look dangerous.
Bouncing
right
and
there.
bounding.
I wouldn't want to shoot that guy.
It is the
And of
disrespect.
course, the mount special. Oh man, that might just take the cake right there. Just give him the and move on with your day. And then you go bouncing off in the distance. That's the best part. Oh my goodness, guys. And that is the last one there of the Battle Pass. That is the Fluffy Bounder mount. Very, very great stuff there. We're going to head and move on to a new ability, Alex, the Skull of Chaos.
Yes. So we are kind of sticking with the trend. You know, the last ability was another kind of skull shape that moved forward, and we had this new one too. So it's this idea that you're going to throw out this massive skull projectile screaming at you, or it's going to be with this wide mouth, and then you're going to hit the ground and it's going to bounce around and look for enemies. It's going to look for targets.
Gotcha. So an automatically targeting. And there it is. You know, a little bit of room for wiggle room there at the end of the day. Bounces off all surfaces.
Yes.
Cool.
And then when you're
Pretty good damage too.
Pretty good damage. That's at legendary. So we're going to see it. You get a little, if you get a group, this is yes.
Yeah.
Skull of Chaos, because sometimes
This is
you're
the
not-
duo destroyer.
Yes. So you toss that into a room, you're like, I know people are in there. I need to. Look at this. Look at this. Our player.
Information gathering, vision control.
Exactly.
What doesn't the Skull of Chaos bring to the battlefield?
You know what? The only thing is maybe in a solo game you might not find the utility as strong, but it's still the legendary damage is going to do enough. But this is definitely a duo squad beast.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So really, if you see someone with that running at you in squads, you want to split up, not stand next to your buddy.
Yeah, because there is a radius, right, Andy? Like it will disengage. So if you're far apart, it's not going to just snap to you across the map. Like you've got to be pretty close.
Time for the tough questions, Alex. What class do I have to be to get this ability?
The tough answer? None.
It just keeps getting better and better.
You just get this.
The deal keeps on a sweetening.
Yeah. So again, like the last ability, we're going to keep these for the moment. Or let's do some non-class abilities. We can have everyone, like, no matter what you're playing, get in there, throw it around.
So, question for me. It looks like it's hitting 5 times. So is that 4 bounces? Am I counting that right?
Let's
and then
see.
also I want to see, does bouncing off the wall consume one of the bounces, or does it not start its like I'm doing damage timer until it smacks somebody?
So
it doesn't look like it is.
It can bounce twice in the world, but once it finds a target, it'll still bounce the same number of times between players.
Gotcha.
If there's no one else nearby after it hits a player, it'll just disappear.
Yes, and there's another piece of this that we won't be able to see in this, but when you guys get to it in live, check it out. So between each bounce, it slows down a little bit. And in our playtesting,
I kind of see that.
Yeah, in our playtesting, you have moments where that last person is moving away from it, and you have the skull slowly chasing you. And it's pretty cinematic.
So it'll track the target slowly. So if it's chasing you, you can jump behind walls and stuff to prevent it from hitting you.
It's just a life or death game of Pac-Man at that point.
Yes, exactly. That's what we're all about here. So I'm really stoked about this ability. It's great.
Very, very cool stuff. Off the top of your head, do you cooldown levels? Do we know any of that type of stuff yet?
The cooldown starts on the high end at 20, and it moves all the way down to 12.
Perfect.
So our legendary, we're at about 12 seconds base.
Cool stuff, guys. So again, this is, all classes can use this. This is not a class-specific ability. Everybody, no matter what you main, will be able to pick this one up and rock it and roll it in the realm. Very cool new feature. I'm pretty excited about.
Yep.
Something that I think will make things a little bit more readable. Andy, combined damage numbers. Player will now have the ability to have their damage numbers combined when dealing damage to enemy players within a short period of time.
Yeah, so one of the things I spend a lot of time in streams, and I saw a couple streamers complaining about just the difficulty of reading how much damage you did to a person. So there's 2 parts of that. One of them is for high hit rate weapons.
Yeah.
They kind of just spewed numbers everywhere.
Like a shredder or something like that. You're just like,
what it was doing.
I feel like I'm doing really good.
Yeah. So that was the first step I wanted to try to solve, was basically just making it so it's very clear exactly how much you're doing. So as you can see, when you do damage within like a 1/4 of a second or so within each other, it'll put it into the same display. The other side of that is armor versus shield damage, where before if they had like 300 armor and you did like 1,200 damage, it would just be red 1,200. So you think you did health damage, even though you did a bunch of armor damage. So now it'll actually split those up into different entries. So you'll see like a yellow 300 and then like a red 900.
Gotcha.
So you know exactly how much damage you did of each type.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff there. Make it a little bit more readable, and you can see there was a sort of delay there in between. If that one damage number goes away, you will kind of just reset the counter.
Yep.
I think this looks great. I think it's going to really help players with the readability.
Yeah, and if you like the old way, you can go into the settings and change it to per hit instead of combined, and then it's the same thing as we used to have.
There you go. I mean, it was in the gameplay settings for those of you that are curious. For those of you that may prefer the old way, you love seeing a lot of damage numbers as opposed to the one condensed.
But now the old way will split armor and shield damage. Still.
Oh, there you go. Still improvements for all at the end of the day. Yeah. That type of stuff is great just for information, right? Knowing exactly how much damage you've done. You know how much everyone has in terms of HP, not necessarily in terms of armor. You don't know where everyone's at going into a fight. But once you hit that red number, you can really start to kind of communicate and let the team know that, you know, they're whittling down here, boys. Let's clean this one up for sure. Damage number display, very, very cool stuff. A new play screen as well. Awesome new features. What can we be expecting along with this new play screen, Andy?
So the new play screen is something that our UI guy and one of our good programmers put together to make it so you just kind of get a sense of camaraderie. Like you can see your buddy that you're here with. You can emote. You can like just it's a lot more integrated experience. So that way it's a bit more social as well. You can do the emotes.
So
you
kawaii.
Can switch into a chicken and do that. So it should
you
just
can turn
be
into
more,
a chicken in here?
Yeah.
Oh, there
It's
it is.
a great place to display our game.
And also you
flex.
can select your class from here as well. So that way you do it before you go into the game and kind of communicate to your buddy like, yeah, I'm going to play Assassin. I'm going to click Assassin right now.
Yeah.
So it just kind of like brings it into a more integrated experience. So that way you can just see what everyone's doing and kind of hang out while you're waiting for the match to start.
Build the comp appropriately, change class loadout, open armory, all stuff you can do from the new play screen. Very, very cool. Basically, I mean, full bore. You can do anything, it looks like, from this screen.
And flexing, again, the most
Of course,
important
the
part.
most in flexing, and really the reason for the season here is to flex your shiny new Eternal Conflict skins, of course, of which we have a couple of those loaded up in. That is for the play screen.
Yeah.
New cool thing, though, in terms of an in-game sort of progression system. The ranks, Josh. Talk to me about what we're doing with ranks.
So with the OB20 update, everyone's ranks will be reset. Immediately, there won't be any rewards this season, but going forward, we want to start offering rewards to players if they hit the master rank in at least one of the queues.
There you go.
Starting with the next battle pass, we will be offering players a reward. And right now we're thinking of potentially doing a progression skin that starts, so you'll need to sort of hit master in successive seasons, and you'll get this sort of evolving skin. It's going to be a really cool system. We'll probably have some more details on that a little later. But
that's the engaging content we pay for, boys. Let's go. And now, if I'm remembering correctly, like when I first started, I think it was like 50 wins to get Masters in a queue. Is that still the standard?
That is still the standard right now.
Gotcha. Awesome. So you get kind of reset to that start. And it was funny because even back in the day, it didn't mean anything, but you were just like, had to get there. I need to be able to update my stream title with, Masters Solo. Here we go. Like, let me show you what's going on here. But that's cool. Having everyone back on the starting, but it's a fun little race. There's a lot of, I think, fun, engaging things to do around those ranked resets. So I'm looking forward to that personally. Of course, mentioned tying the reward to it later on. Not this time around. You'll just be kind of back to the starting blocks and just grind again for the fun of it. But in the future, expect to see some of those rewards for whatever you end up hitting in a season. Console invite improvements, Josh.
Yeah, so one of the issues we noticed right when Switch went live is if I'm on Switch, I can't invite an Xbox player. So what we're going to do for the cross-platform environment specifically is you will be able to invite players by name. There won't be full functionality on PlayStation 4 or on Xbox if you're playing without crossplay right now.
Okay.
But the goal of this was to improve the crossplay experience, make sure regardless which platform your friends are playing on, you can get into a party easily and play together.
I have to say that's the way I do it in Smite is just by name. I go in there and I want to pop people's names, and I love that. Makes it very, very easy to hop in. with the crossplay, boys, and that's really it. Crossplay's been amazing, I just have to say. I hope that's the future of just gaming in general, because that has been huge for me, reconnecting with a couple of old friends and that are still on the Xbox, and I just have to watch them playing by themselves instead of inviting them in. But high-res games are great for that. That does it for our quality of life sort of stuff, guys. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the balance. Me and this man right here. We're gonna buff or nerf some of your favorite or maybe least favorite weapons and abilities. First one on the list, the proximity trap.
Yeah, so this one's simple. It was at a 2-second activation time. So you'd sit there, you'd throw it out, take 2 seconds to actually pop out of its little thing and then blow up. So I reduced that down to 1.2 seconds. It felt a little more viable. It felt like you could actually put it somewhere and have the intended consequence. It blows up and damages someone.
In an action sequence, really. There's not a whole lot. Well, maybe for some people, but for me, I'm not really a sit and wait in my proximity trap kind of player. I think you could use that you could see it as more of a skill shot if it activates quickly, right? You just land it, lead it a little bit, and bada bing, bada boom. Plus, this thing hits. This thing swings hard, especially if you get one of those upper rarity ones.
I didn't change damage yet because it's...
Let's see where we land.
Exactly.
I'm not saying it's going to go one way or the other.
It is powerful.
But the Shredder, that's next up on the docket. The Shredder no longer deals headshot damage, but, big but, time between bullets in a burst has been reduced as a result.
Stick with me here. No headshots. So
follow me.
Yeah, this is one of those things where, especially with the fire element, we were noticing that we even did some internal testing, and we were doing something like 6,000 or 7,000 damage with a full clip. You're wrecking with that fire damage.
We like those.
And that scaling headshot. So I didn't touch the damage numbers, but reducing the amount, or headshots at all on this, it just felt more in line with the weapon. I want to get in there and spray and just hit you in the body, get that big target, chew you up. But what I did was increase that, or decrease actually, so when you're firing off your bullets, it's not going to be as slow as it was. I just touched that up a little bit so you're popping off bullets a little faster.
Cool. Very cool stuff. So no more headshots for the Shredder, but they're going to shoot faster and less delay in between. Armor potions. I'm excited for this one. Increase the drop rate for armor potions from potion chests. All players will drop at least one armor potion when they are eliminated, even if they had none in their inventory.
Right. Yeah, this was big. So the first part is just a general.
Huge.
We looked at those armor chests, the ones that you see, they're the more boxy formation, right? So I'm like, all right, let's increase the armor potions. So we jumped those up a little bit. You have a much better chance of getting at least one armor potion out of those now. The bigger one here, all players, they're dropping one, like you said. So you kill someone, you just got into a match, they're dropping an armor potion. I'm real excited to see what this does at the end game. You're in these fights, you're just going through all your armor potions, and maybe there's 3 or 4 people in that final circle. You get the kill, I can at least get one armor potion.
Because before, it would feel almost like you were punished a little bit for fighting, right? I'm having to expend my armor to say a lot, or you could just take no shots. Am I right, boys? Am I right? Just move better, kid. Move better. No, but less punishing, I think, to be able to pop at least one of these for your troubles of getting one of those kills. Very, very good change. Love that. Lifesteal Rune, that's the next one up on the docket. The Lifesteal bonus has been from 30% to 15%.
Yeah, we took the big 50% axe and hit it with that one, because that was just, it was a common complaint that we saw all the time. That Lifesteal Rune was too powerful, especially with high skilled players. They were sitting there and they could just re-heal in a battle constantly. So I just took it in half. These are the types of changes that we look at, and I want to see how players engage with it. We have so much testing that we can do internally, and I really want to see what people do out in the wild.
Yeah.
So I go a little heavy, and then we see. And I think 15% makes sense, but
15% is still a lot. I mean, because it's at the day, it's 15% that you don't have. It's a rune, right? So you're just having to hopefully stumble upon it. This is not something you can really kind of target craft down. You can't preload it with any loadout talents or anything like that. So it's tough to fight against something like that that's completely random. So I get it. I get the sentiment for sure. 15%.
Was 30 too much?
Feels like a good spot. Bug fixes, guys. Let's move into that section. Everyone loves this part. I love this part. And our main man Andy did a really good job last time, so we're gonna ask him to do it again. Of kind of like break these down in layman's terms, right? So we can all kind of understand what really was the problem. Because the more you kind of understand a problem, the more you could think about a problem in the future, and maybe sort of help Andy figure out the solution at the end of the day. So first one up on the docket, Andy. Further improvements to issues where shadows were being visible through walls.
Yeah, so this is something I mentioned last time in the patch notes show, that I was going to make further improvements. So basically, it's
a man of his word.
Additional checks to make sure that there's scenarios where if you can't see a character, go ahead and just hide the shadow. Just to make sure there's no more edge cases where it's going to show up through the terrain.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I mean, that's pretty straightforward.
There it is. Fixed an issue where players would not produce footsteps. I'm sure that was very frustrating if you ever had that happen to you.
Yeah, no, that's definitely not good. From what I remember on that, it was another programmer that actually fixed that one. But from what I remember, I think it had to do with essentially the way that your physics state and your animation state was replicated across the network. Essentially, remote clients could get into a weird state where they were in a animation state that wasn't triggering footsteps because they weren't technically walking animations, if I remember right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so,
okay. Fair enough. Next issue, fixed Soul Gust not going through catapults.
Yeah, and that's another one I didn't personally take care of, but just that sort of thing is usually just kind of a setting of what sort of things this projectile can collide with, and it just happened to be.
And the catapults are like a different category than
Yeah.
boxes or
So,
stuff like that.
We just
that one,
adjusted that.
guys.
Was that you?
Ooh,
All right.
ooh, easy.
Cool.
Easy for Alex
Yeah.
D, boys. We take those. We take those every day. Next one on the list, address some of the issues of uneven terrain on the cliffs above Fungal Jungle.
Was that you as well?
I guess that might have been me as well. Yeah, so that was more,
A little landscaping.
yeah, a little landscaping, getting in there, doing a little world building. Yeah, it's that same idea. After we make some adjustments to an area, and some of these were a little older, and I found that players are getting stuck on some of the collision in those mountain areas when you're overlooking Fungal Jungle. Kind of when you want to jump on top of those big old mushrooms. So there were some places where you get stuck. So I just tried to find the ones that were egregious and smooth them out.
Cool. Very, very cool. Fixed an issue where proximity trap would float in the air if it hit an enemy player.
Yeah, and that was another thing that I actually got from watching the streams is that they were complaining about it was just kind of weird when you hit someone with the proximity trap, it would just kind of hang out and then deploy. So I worked with Alex and we decided just to make it explode if it hit someone because it really didn't make any sense
it is,
for
boys.
it to just sit there.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, you hit the skill shot, boy. You
Yeah.
better reward him for it. Next up, fixed an issue that would cause firebomb to persist for too long without exploding.
So this was it was probably a much deeper problem. It had to do with the way that our projectile starts on the client and then goes to the server. It was essentially just like a miscommunication between the client and server saying that it was supposed to bounce here, where the server was like, yeah, it bounced, and the client's like, no, it exploded. So it was just kind of fixing that desync.
Gotcha.
Show up often as the firebomb would just rotate
Yeah.
in place and
You
not
know,
do anything.
that happens to Tyra every once in a while
so you might
too.
have seen that.
I thought.
Yeah.
I always
I
thought
talked
it
to
was.
Paladins. About
Did
this.
you really? I always thought it was like it was getting stuck in because some of the map hitboxes on Paladins are like nutty precise in
Yeah.
terms of like they will go through two little floorboards if you're not
Yeah.
careful. I always thought it was like something of just like it's getting caught in limbo, but
yeah, bouncing
dang-
projectiles are tricky.
that dang client server, they're always just arguing.
Yeah.
Why can't they just agree on anything?
Exactly.
That would make all of our lives so much easier. We have fog damage will no longer bypass armor while in an immunity effect.
Yeah. So again, I don't remember all the details of this one. This was another programmer that fixed this, but from what I remember talking to him, it essentially just had to do with, I think it was just like some legacy code that existed that if you were in
Like a ice block or a
immune
ghost
state,
block?
it wouldn't apply to the different health pools. It would just
Gotcha.
apply to the main one based on like how true damage was working because the fog was considered true damage.
Right.
So we just had to adjust some of that code, and it was pretty straightforward once we found exactly where it was going wrong.
So now, I mean, ghost block's more useful out
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
out there in the wild fog. If you're a fog kind of guy,
Wild man, yeah.
if you love living your life out there, I guess do you, baby? I'm not going to stop you. Fix an issue where spectated players' runes would show runes that the player did not actually have.
Yeah, that one was on me because I made it so you could actually spectate runes, but essentially the code that was already there, it never actually cleared out the icons. So if you had one dude with 2 runes and one dude with 4 runes you were spectating, as soon as you went to the guy that had 4 and then back to the dude with 2, it would still show those extra 2.
Gotcha.
So yeah, and again, pretty straightforward to fix once we figured out that it was happening. So.
Awesome. Fix an issue where the skydiving sound effect would get stuck on a resurrected player.
Yep. I think this one was more of a kind of a legacy thing because I think at one point in the past we must have had it where when you'd revive you would actually skydive back in. So it was
Gotcha.
essentially that you would immediately go into the skydive and then
Yeah.
out of the skydive
There was
and
that
the sound would
remote
get
for a while.
stuck.
Yeah.
So I just basically got rid of that legacy code.
Awesome. Very, very cool cleanup there. Fixed a variety of issues surrounding vaulting.
Yeah, so this one obviously was a really big frustration for the community. Like I even felt it myself when I would play and watching streamers. You would go up to the window and try to vault through it, and you would do either weird things where it'd be like you didn't go through it, but you look like you did and you teleported back, or the opposite. So basically I had to rewrite some of how that code was set up to actually be more consistent and kind of like the handoff between client and server being more reliable.
You let me know if I need to have a chat with Mr. Client and Mr. Server. We'll get down to business. Last issue here on the docket, fix an issue where the loot goblin would not drop loot when eliminated. Note that a known issue if the loot goblin dies mid-air.
That one's actually fixed. I fixed the
okay.
animation issues too.
Sorry, Nick.
So
Easy for Andy.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
easy for Andy.
So yeah, basically I just looked at how the state was being handled, and I kind of adjusted some things and made sure it was handling it more consistently, as well as worked with the animation team to make sure that the animation actually gets transitioned
Right.
into. Because at one point when he was in midair, if he died, the way his animation tree was set up, it just wouldn't let you transition to the death animation. So we just shuffled some things around and got that working.
Terrific. That does it for our bug fix section of the show, guys. And normally that would be the end of the show, but we have a special word from Mr. J Nash before we do go. What do you got for us, bud?
Yeah, so just wanted to let everyone know we plan on getting the update notes out later today, so
Okay.
everyone can get a full list of what's coming. There are a few more bug fixes in there, a few more quality of life things, so you'll be able to get your hands on that later today. We know people have been asking for it, so we actually have written up a bit of a roadmap of sorts, at least for the scope of this particular battle pass, so that everyone can get an idea of what's coming over the next update.
Yeah, take a drive with us.
Yeah,
Come down this
and,
road.
There's some more details in there. Be on the lookout for that. That'll be out a little later this week. And then one of our last notes I wanted to make is that this is your final chance to finish the third battle pass, the Next Frontier battle pass. When OB20 arrives, the battle pass will no longer be available.
Gotcha.
But we want to make it easy, or make it realistic that everyone can reach that goal. So this weekend we will be doing triple battle pass XP.
Nice.
Woo!
3x.
Hop in there, boys. Get her done. Because you're running out of chances. You're running out of time. The eternal conflict is brewing. It's about to pop off, and we need you. We need you to fight for whatever side you feel like fighting. Just make sure you maintain balance out there.
Yeah.
Hit the ground running. Start grinding the battle pass. Grab the floofy bounder mount at the end of the day and spit on your enemies.
Yeah.
Because that's what's most important is disrespect at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for joining us here on the OB20 show. My name is Pretty Hair. Thank you guys all so much for coming out
Yeah.
and doing the damn thing with me. We'll see you all in the next one.